Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Market Wrap number 178. Stuart Williamson here at the helm, APW. Now this week, what's going to happen to the UK housing market in 2024? Up, down, out, who knows? We're looking at the Zoopla report and see what they're saying. Firstly, they look at mortgage rate predictions. Mortgage rates look set to remain higher for longer into 2024, and we're not expecting them to fall back to 4.5% until Q2 of next year. That means housing affordability will really only improve if people are able to earn more money and their incomes grow. The ongoing rise in wages will be the main factor that supports sales volumes to the housing market for the remainder of 2023-2024. What's going to happen to house prices in 2024? According to Zoopla, house prices are expected to fall overall by 2% across the country. That's across the country as an average. Homes are currently looking expensive by historic standards amid rising mortgage rates over the last 18 months. If house prices fall further and incomes increase or mortgage rates fall back, affordability will improve for home buyers, and this will in turn support sales. The number of homes for sale has now reached a 5-year high, meaning sellers will need to price competitively. In 2023, the south of England bore the brunt of house price falls. Those falls are now spreading further afield. Biggest faller in the UK at the moment is Bournemouth, Brighton, Hove, those areas. Pretty large scale falls. But crucially, the scale of those price falls is not as bad as it could be, limited to single digits. No market has fallen by more than 5%. However, in 2024, Zoopla expect falls to increase in markets registering 5% falls or more, as sellers continue to readjust their asking prices in the face of weaker buying power. Despite this, the risk of major collapse on prices is becoming less concern, and an improvement in sales hinges more on buyers' financial ability to move when mortgage rates are at the lower 4% to 5% range. And whilst the likelihood of a double-digit price drop remains low, housing affordability needs to improve to bring more buyers back into the market and to support sales volumes. So how can this affordability improve? No, the prices haven't fallen as much as people expected. Mortgage rates are still at 5%, so it all looks quite expensive by recent standards. However, faster growth in household incomes over 2024 has improved buyers' affordability. It's running at 8%. Wage inflation in the UK, across 2023 rather. Looks like it's going to continue into 2024, along with mortgage rates now starting to fall. Household finances have also been under pressure with rising living costs, with inflation eroding any growth in incomes. Fortunately now, this is now reversing at last, and the Bank of England currently projects that inflation will be below 2% in the first half of 2025. So that's only 20 months away. This, along with the real income growth, will be important in supporting buyer demand. So housing market could rebound if affordability improves. Now, Zoopla's Executive Director of Research, Mr. Richard Donnell, says there is scope for a rebound in market activity if this affordability does improve. He quotes, "The housing market is adjusting to higher borrowing costs through lower sales rather than a big decline in house prices. Asset prices around the world are also adjusting to higher borrowing costs, and there is a lively debate in financial circles about the long-run outlook for borrowing costs, which sets the outlook of mortgage rates. Most agree we aren't returning to the years of very cheap borrowing, as central banks sunset policies that created cheap money to support economies after the GFC over the pandemic will no longer be applicable. Mortgage rates of 4 to 5% will remain low by historic standards, albeit higher than what a lot of people nowadays are used to." He goes on to say, assuming mortgage rates remain in the 4 to 5% range, we see UK house price growth remaining in the low single digits for the next 1 to 2 years, below the projections for growth in household income. This would mean that for the first time in 10 years, house prices will start to become more affordable, increasing consumer confidence in making large purchase decisions. So a question a lot of people are asking at the moment is, why haven't house prices fallen more? Well, according to Zoopla, there are 3 reasons why house prices haven't tumbled, defying those predictions that are out there all the time. Firstly, the economy is slowing, albeit slowly, whilst unemployment remains low and incomes are increasing. Lenders are supporting customers to refinance through longer-term mortgages, interest-only mortgages and mortgage holidays, therefore limiting the number of repossessions or forced sellers. And thirdly, tougher affordability criteria from lenders has meant that while new mortgage buyers may have been paying just 2% for their mortgages, they've still had to prove that they could afford 7% to the bank. So now the rates are up to 5%, they can still afford it. This has meant that mortgage buyers now, when they're remortgaging, can afford the higher rates because it was already built into the system. Banks now, though, are stress testing new borrowers at 8 to 9%, even though they're actually paying 5%, which is compounding the reduction in buying power and hitting sales of properties. Stuart believes homes in parts of the market are currently overvalued and prices are likely to fall further. I mean, we know there's markets, those that went up dramatically during COVID, that are historically very high and are not the place to be buying buy to let, come what may. They're not head decisions, they're heart decisions. So if you have a look at this chart here, it's Zoopla measures how much house prices are overvalued or undervalued over time. It shows periods of overvaluation in the late 80s and again in the run-up to the global financial crisis of 2007, after which house prices fell. So will more buyers return to the market in 2024? Zoopla expect to see the usual seasonal rebound in demand in the spring as pent-up demand returns to the market. However, the number of sales taking place is set to be lower than spring this year, 2023. General elections also tend to create a pause in activity, which is why the Zoopla expect another year of around 1 million home moves in 2024. If mortgage rates fall back to 4% more quickly, the number of sales set to take place would improve. Buyers are currently hesitant to move amid the uncertainty of a house price falls and the higher mortgage rates. This is particularly the case for upsizers looking to secure larger family homes, 2 beds going up to 3 beds and further on. Zoopla's recent consumer survey reveals parts of the population are still keen to move, but many are hoping / waiting for mortgage rates to get lower again before they do so. For 2024, cash buyers are set to be the biggest buying group in the UK. How about that? Cash buyers. That will be followed by first-time buyers as rents continue to rise, so you've got to get into the marketplace. As I said, upsizers are being hit hard by higher mortgage rates as the larger properties they're looking to secure require bigger mortgages, more than they expected to afford. But if they can be encouraged to be more flexible about what they want to buy and where in 2024, this would support overall sales volumes. And we are seeing that in the Midlands and the North. You can live further out if you're doing this work from home thing and then travel in. And work from home has a major effect in the Midlands and the North, buoying the provincial areas compared to the city areas. So the message we're getting from Zoopla overall is a pretty sort of standard thing. From a buy-to-let perspective, we're not affected by many of those things. Just buy carefully. There are still plenty of good buy-to-let properties out there, especially if you've got 30% deposit, because that nullifies higher interest rates. You'll still be able to get the property to wash its face. Bear in mind head or heart, which are you buying with? Bear in mind ties, transport, infrastructure, employment. Has the area got all those things? And then drill down a bit further. What are the plans for the area? Is it going to be redeveloped? Are there new businesses moving into that area? What is the government funding they're getting? Those are all the core things to look for when buying an investment property. Not, it's because my mum lives there. So that's it, Market Route 178 for APW. Thank you very much for watching. We just do it to give time-pressed buyers a bit of audio listening to make it easy for them to catch up with what's going on in the marketplace. It's not biased in any way. It's just a simple statement from research we get in the marketplace. Thanks very much. Do take care. Cheerio.